How to make interesting chord progressions in your song. If you're finding your songs are just a bit flat, a bit standard, and you're looking for more interesting ways to make them sound better, I'll show you how to do that with, we're going to be looking at a piano in this case in Logic today, but you can use this exact same principles with synths or any other MIDI data that you're working with. Also, this is new. I have a free download link in the description on the production template that I use. It makes me really productive in my sessions. Free download link if you want that in the description. So we're going to be looking at this chord progression here, and we're using a B minor to a G and a D. So it sounds like this. Especially if you use this and then you duplicate it, pressing Command R, and we just duplicate that and maybe have that for the entire song. Just this, it's just going to get really boring really fast over the entire amount of the song. What I want to focus on in this video is making inversions with the chords. And inversions are just changing the order of how the notes are played. The way the chords are played right now and how we're listening to them is the standard order. So because the piano and because musical notes go in octaves, like high and low octaves, it doesn't matter what order you play the notes in. For example, this F sharp can actually go down in octaves. And that's going to give you the same chord. It's still going to be a B minor, but it will sound different. So up here, and the shortcut to do that is Shift Option up arrow or down arrow to make that MIDI note jump an octave up or down. So it was here, Shift Option down arrow. So now we have this. We can take this even further. We can take this one and drop it down. Now we have something even different. If you're new here, I'm Charles Klein, singer, songwriter, and producer. Feel free to subscribe. We go live every week. I do music production tutorials and try to help you make music and get that music heard. So please feel free to subscribe and stick around. Let's just go back and let's start with just dropping every top note down one. So now we have this. Much more interesting. We don't have to do the same thing all the time too. If we want this note to be up a bit higher, that might be better because it helps to have kind of the notes, depends on what part of the song you're in, but to have the notes placed in a similar octave. Like if this note was down here, it's not that bad, but it's not necessarily even here. It's more even if this note was up here. See what I mean? It's more of an even plateau, an even playing field. That's the biggest thing to make your chord progressions more interesting. Try going into the chords, choosing a note and dropping it down 12 semitones or dropping it up 12 semitones. And it doesn't matter what the note is. We can take the middle notes and drop these down. Now we're gonna have something much more interesting. That sounds a little bit weird, right? There's tension there, but the notes are correct. Let's just go back here and talk about different ways to make the chord progressions more interesting. So because this is a B chord, we have the B note here. We can add the bass note, so it would be down here. We can add a double bass octave, so this B and this B. And we can do the same thing for the other chords. I'm going to highlight the bass notes and just do right click because I have the velocity tool on my right click. I'm just going to drag that velocity down. Now we have third way to really make it more interesting is to add different notes and take away different notes. Like we don't have to have all these notes in here. For example, in this first chord we're a B minor, but we don't have to have this D in there. And that makes it also sound more interesting. And adding new notes. So we have a B minor chord. So one way to make the chord more interesting is adding a seventh note. So the seventh note would be this. So instead of this B minor, we have B minor 7th. It's more tension, right? It sounds a bit more, more tension. So how do you find the 7th note? It's just 2 semitones down from the high octave. So I'll show you in the MIDI data here, so it makes more sense. Let's erase this and draw in a B minor chord. So this is a B minor chord, and we have another B up here, right? So we have B, D, F sharp, B. Comes full circle up there. So the 7th is just 2 semitones down from this top note, A. And that will make your chords sound more interesting. So let's do the same thing for this one. G, and let's draw the top G. Go 2 down from G. That's F. Sounds kind of weird, right? So lots of tension there. So if we add all 7 chords like this, it's not really going to sound good in a way, because typically 7 chords are used for transition chords, in jazzy chords, to make to apply some tension here or there. But if we just play 7 chords back to each other, it's not going to sound great. See how there's lots of tension in there? So I don't really like how the second G is playing, so I'm just going to go back to the normal G, and I can get rid of these octaves on top. I'll keep the 7th note and get rid of this one. So I'm using all the practices that we've already talked about and just applying it here. I'm going to only have the 7th note come in halfway through the chord like this. And I think I want some more depth in here. So I'm going to add the A, but I'm going to drop it down an octave. And the A note is nice to also ring out in the D chord, so we can add it again here maybe. Maybe add this E note in here. As kind of a step up to that D chord that's happening. Maybe a step down here to this note. Actually, maybe something like that. Sounds a bit too theatrical, I think. Probably would just want a new chord there. So we can go to the A. So I have an A chord, and drop maybe this note down an octave, and maybe we can try adding the 7th to the A, so the G. Maybe too much tension, maybe it's good for your song, we can get rid of the 7th. So we've taken something that sounds like this, and we've changed it to this. Hope to see you in the next live video, and again, feel free to download that production template in the description, and we'll see you in the next video.